There are a lot of companies that are really focused on distressed homes. This home needs a ton of work. They're going after those homes that are falling down, that need hundreds of thousands of dollars of repair. And we don't look for those opportunities. We're really trying to build a solution for a specific seller. We've talked about the new construction buyer. We've talked about the overwhelmed new parent like me. I mean, I love that grandma example because it speaks to not the condition of the home, but the situation that the seller's in. I've lived in this home for a long time. I've cared for it. I have some deferred maintenance, but it's mostly cosmetic. But what I'm really looking for is to simplify my life.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Glennda Baker, and I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And welcome to Glenda's Guru, my podcast inside Glenda's Gazette. I am excited today, y'all. You are going to pass straight out. You are not going to believe who is here with me today on Glenda's Guru. It is Nick Boniakowski, the head of agent partnerships for Opendoor. That is right. Now, you guys know that I've had a lot to say about Opendoor in the past, and this is probably what you're thinking is an unlikely collaboration. But I'm so excited, I just about can't sit still. Nick, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks, Glenda. I think we are as excited as you to have this opportunity. It's awesome to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, I've got to tell you, I can't wait to kind of dig in and get started with this podcast. But before we do that, just like, how did you get to Opendoor? Kind of give me like your pathway there.
Sure. Well, Opendoor at its heart is a technology company in the real estate space. But I'm about as old school as it gets in that I grew up in the real estate industry. My grandparents started a brokerage in the 1940s. I grew up on new construction sites. My father was a developer and broker owner. But when the rest of my family continued and they still have this business, I went left after college and wanted to branch out and do something on my own. Always knew I'd be in real estate, but I've really always been fascinated by how technology can make the process better for consumers. So I've had a few different stops at a few different companies along the way. And about 2 years ago, I found myself really interested in what Opendoor was doing and seeing a big opportunity to help Opendoor grow with the agent community specifically. So that's the short version of how I got here along the way. A lot of learnings, a lot of humbling moments. But yeah, now I'm happy to lead our agent partnerships team. And honestly, for a real estate junkie, a real estate nerd, self-described like myself, being with you as a fan of this podcast and the videos you put out in your TikToks, especially, this is quite a trip for me. So.
Well, I am totally excited. And, I shoot straight. And in the past, I guess I had looked at Opendoor as a competitor to me, the real estate agent. And even though when we have sold Opendoor properties, we really have had a seamless experience with your team here in Atlanta from the properties that you've purchased. And for me, when you guys initially reached out, I was like, I don't know about this. But I've got to tell you, you have really transitioned the partnership with agents and Opendoor and how that looks. Tell me a little bit more, like what was the catalyst behind that? What was it that Opendoor saw that needed a little bit of improvement? And instead of being a competitor to the agent, being a collaborator with the agent?
Yeah, I love hearing that. That evolution that you describe is a consistent theme that I hear from other industry leaders. I'm actually about to head to a conference for 2 days where I'm going to meet with a lot of real estate leaders. And I know that theme, that change, that evolution of understanding from competitor to collaborator to partner is a common one. And the reality is we set out to help consumers, always with our eyes and the focus on the consumer, which I know all successful real estate participants are always thinking of the consumer first. But in doing so, you can overlook how many consumers are relying on that trusted advisor. And it was really just about identifying that opportunity. So we're all, in some ways, and this is really why I love the real estate industry so much, we're all competitors at a certain point. but we're all also simultaneously collaborating. We may compete for a listing, we may compete for a buyer by offering, different buyer services. But at the end of the day, when someone has that customer, we all collaborate. How can I represent the seller with your buyer, and vice versa? And really, it's that recognition, realizing we set up Opendoor for agents actually many years ago in 2016, but it's really grown into what it is over the last few years as our team internally. We have many teammates. It's not just me over here, just really focused on listening to agents, listening to brokers and leaders, and saying, what can we do better? How can we make this work for you and your customers? In recognition that is the whole idea behind our partnerships team. How can we meet and serve the customer where they are? And if they're choosing to work with their trusted real estate agent, we want to make sure that we have the tools and services in place so that agent can bring the Opendoor experience to their customer.
Well, I've got to tell you, you mentioned a couple of things right there that I've got to applaud you for. You're a huge company, and you certainly didn't have to listen to real estate agents or the real estate community, because you are a big force. And what I applaud is that you saw where there was some room for improvement. Not only did you kind of improve your process and improve your partnership with agents, but you really gave us an extra tool for our tool belt. And for me, that was really valuable. As I said, when we worked with Opendoor as the owner of a property that we sold, or several properties that we sold, it was a seamless experience. And then when I started doing CMAs for listings, I would see something that would pop up that would say, here is your Opendoor offer for your seller. And at first, I was a little taken back by that, because I was like, wait a minute, now what's going on? And I was still in that mindset, that scarcity mindset. And I was still in the mindset that we were competitors. But that was not the case at all. You were really offering me and my seller just another option, and getting my client the best option is really what my goal is. And doing it with Opendoor is really, again, very seamless.
That's awesome to hear, and I specifically love hearing about you discovering or realizing that Opendoor was an option within one of your workflows. Your CMA preparation, and that's a thing that my team, our product team, our engineers are really interested in doing, recognizing that we need to meet agents where they are so they can serve their customers easily. But I also recognize that apprehension. Who is this company? My customer may be going to them direct. What's going to happen after I put this address in there? And that is that real message that I want agents to understand. And that when you are coming to Opendoor on behalf of your client, the relationship is between us and the agent. We don't, you represent your seller. We're a buyer there, and we're the best, hopefully, one of the best buyers you can know, because we have deep pockets. We can make an offer on most of the homes that you have. And I love the way you articulated it, is that we're meant to be an option. You can go into that listing consult, be prepared for anything that the seller throws at you, whether their timeline has changed or they're trying to get into that new construction, having that option, doing the homework up front to go to the seller with the options, so they can either make that decision to list on the MLS, or if they need to, explore the option with Opendoor and a cash offer.
Well, you bring up a really, really valid point that probably a lot of agents haven't thought through, is if Bobby and Susie need to sell house A to buy that new construction or to buy that next house, you really can be a key component in the ability to execute both selling their house and helping them buy their next. As the real estate agent, bringing you into the picture could facilitate that sale so much faster with so much less friction. And that right there is, that's a jackpot for agents.
It is, and in some cases, it's really the only way a seller can actually make that move, can time those things, and whether it's that that contingent sale to get into that new build, or it's simply going to be really tough to deal with putting a house on the market I myself, I have a 6 and 4-year-old. The prospect of getting a house on the market, my wife and I really do want to move. It's daunting. We don't even know where to start as far as cleaning up the toys. But the idea of having an option where I could at least have an offer and know, this is a path with no hassle, no showings, no stress. It certainly gets the wheels turning about what's next. Now, even if it wasn't the right choice at the end of the day, if we end up in saying, all right, we're going to go through, we're going to list, being able to make that decision and having it start the conversation. I talk to a lot of agents that have really harnessed Opendoor as a way to get the wheels turning with their customers and say, well, I don't even know this was something I could think about. Whether or not they go that route or not, it really helps engage and show them something new and bring new value to their customers.
The market, it's been so dicey over the last, couple of years, especially, interest rates going up, this kind of flurry of activity, kind of. What do you hear from real estate agents when you're, out on the road of real estate? What are you hearing from us?
Wow. I'm hearing a lot of different things these days. Real estate, just when I think I've seen everything, I see something completely new. And I think we're really in unprecedented times, just both with the industry, what's going on in the news, and also interest rates and below inventory. I have the luxury of traveling from market to market and meeting brokers. It's the favorite thing I get to do in my job. But I talk to people in California. I talk to people in North Carolina, Florida, Texas, all across the country. And, the common theme right now is just uncertainty. What's going to happen next? Inventory, although every market is a bit different, obviously nationally, it's just so low and so much lower than I think agents who have been in this business for a while are used to seeing. That it's really just made people have a sense of, when is this going to open up again? When are things going to change? Feels like everyone has to work a bit harder for every transaction they're working on. More time, more deals falling through, more uncertainty. Fluctuation in rates can mean the difference between being able to qualify or not qualify. I've seen fall throughs, reach new heights recently for the wrong reasons, and just this overall sense of uncertainty, which a fun part of getting to preach what I preach is the value prop of certainty. One of my favorite things about Opendoor, whatever you're considering, is just that idea of, in an uncertain real estate world, being able to bring a bit of certainty. Sometimes I get to be the good guy in that way. We get to bring in the offer that gives someone, well, at least I know what's going to happen here, so it can unlock my next move.
Well, I love that, because you're exactly right that people more now than ever are looking for clarity and certainty. And you're right, having that cash offer in hand when you sit down with your seller for that listing appointment and being able to give them that clarity and certainty. Number one, it's building our value as a real estate agent, and it's showing that client that your main objective is to help them with their goals. And I always like to say, when I provide clarity and certainty, it gives my clients confidence and comfortability to make a decision. And I think that bringing that cash offer with you on your listing appointment really goes that extra mile and shows the client what they're going to get.
I couldn't agree more. I think I counted 4 C's in there. I'm not sure if that's intentional. The four C's. It's a different 4 C's than my wife reminds me about quite often. But I agree. I couldn't agree more. And it's interesting, going back to me talking to agents, brokers, leaders, corporate executives in the space. That a common theme among the folks that have really been, I'd say, the most successful in this industry, yourself included, is exactly what you just articulated. It's kind of this understanding that, no, I'm not scared of this. I'm not going to run away from it. I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to use it, and I'm actually going to benefit from it. And that doesn't always mean bringing an offer and a customer saying, I'm going to take an offer. Oftentimes it means I showed up, I gave them the convenience. I cleared their stress so they could make the right decision. Whatever we did next, it was just really embracing that option, whether it's Opendoor or a different technology in the space. It's just this theme of the best in our industry are always looking for ways that they can bring new value to customers rather than running away from it.
Well, and if you, the real estate agent, don't think that your seller or a homeowner has thought about, reaching out to get some sort of cash offer, I think that they're kidding themselves. And I think that having the ability to bring it in hand to the table on the listing appointment is so critical to your success, whether you're listing it or whether you're helping them partner with Opendoor to buy the house. Now, let me ask you a question. We sold 98 houses last year. How often are agents partnering with Opendoor? Is it like 1 out of 10 transactions? Do you see people doing multiple transactions, helping make that introduction to the seller? Like, kind of paint a picture for me. In a perfect world, what does it look like from your side of the table?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something our team has been really tracking closely over the past few years, trying to recognize how can we create more repeat engagement from agents. It's one of our key metrics for success. We obviously really focus on customer NPS above all. It's our North Star metric for the company. But on our team too, we also look at our agent NPS, and one of the best indicators of that is how often is that agent coming back to us and re-requesting an offer or re-showing one of our homes. But it's really varied. I guess what success looks like for our team is that an agent thinks about it as an option for every customer that they're meeting. Now, we're not going to be the solution for all of their customers. When you think about 10 customers, even the majority of those customers, just recognizing that customers have different needs. They're varied. Most customers are going to want to maximize proceeds if they're in their position to do so, if they don't have to, solve a contingency problem. But it's really less rooted in the, did we win the offer? Did we buy the house? And more rooted in were we brought to the table, going back to your point. So true success for my team looks like, did we give the agent, did we make it easy enough for them to request an offer for every customer that they're meeting? We obviously want to acquire homes, to buy homes, to make the customer and the agent happy. But really it's that first point, that first metric of, are we creating a delightful enough process for the agent where they're bringing us to every seller that they're meeting? So they have that, next to the CMA, and we're hitting 100% on that metric above all, because that's the best indicator that we've done something that's easy for agents, it's fast for agents, and it's creating value for agents. Whether we, end up transacting, that's for the product to speak for itself and the strength of our offers and all that goes with it. But yeah, I'm really focused on just getting those agents to come back every single time.
I love that. Now this is, and agents, listen to me. You want to talk about an easy process. If you're using Cloud CMA to prepare for your appointment, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I mean, right there in the top right corner, you'll see the Opendoor offer, and it's very easy to download. It looks phenomenal. It looks super professional when you're presenting it. So if you have any concern that, is it a real offer? Are they going to follow through? What are the steps? I would encourage you as an agent to test the process out. Give them a chance, give them a shot, because I will tell you, it made a believer out of me using it, actually printing it out, taking it with me, and presenting it to the client. My client didn't choose to option that offer, but being able to have it there at the table, it is amazing. So we're not doing any listing presentation without it.
That's awesome. I love it, and I love the integration there. I know a whole range of industry folks listen to the podcast, so executives, broker owners, team leaders. If there are more integration points, that's really what I look for in my day-to-day job. Is how can I find areas similar to that where you can discover Opendoor in your workflows, where we're not asking you to go do something else. And we've built out some pretty cool tools for some of our agent partners, dedicated links where they save something on their, their browser next to their email, and they have a button they click and they type in an address. And like you said, we really want to make sure that we're reducing any kind of fear or concern. An agent, when they're representing their seller, is just giving an address, and we take that agent-client relationship incredibly seriously. You're providing an address. There's no interaction with your customer. It's between us and the agent, and it's the only communication that'll be there. And it's really just that address. And then from there, you get to decide what happens next for your customer.
We've talked a lot about the listing side. We've talked about how you guys have made it a lot easier for agents to, when they're doing Cloud CMA, to pull up that Opendoor offer. Let's move a little bit to the buy side. And that's where we've really had a lot of success with Opendoor. And what's been most interesting to me is that every transaction that we've done where Opendoor was the seller, you guys had gotten grandma's house. And my audience knows I love grandma's house. If you should ever buy anything, it is an original one owner home or something, because grandma she may still have shag carpet, but she's got great electrical, great plumbing, great roof. She hasn't let those things fall by the wayside. And when you guys go out and you make an offer on a house or you acquire a house, is there something in particular that you look for when you're acquiring something? And then when you put it on the market, how can we as agents, what does that perfect transaction look like with us on the buy side?
Yeah, I absolutely love that framing of grandma's house, because it speaks towards our goal of really thinking about it being a solution for specific sellers and not specific homes. So I think in the cash offer iBuying space, there are a lot of companies that are really focused on distressed homes. This home needs a ton of work. They're going after those homes that are falling down, that need hundreds of thousands of dollars of repair. And we don't look for those opportunities. We're really trying to build a solution for a specific seller. Now, grandma may be one of those specific seller cohorts. We've talked about the new construction buyer. We've talked about the overwhelmed new parent like me. But there's a bunch of different use cases on that seller. And with that, I mean, I love that grandma example, because it speaks to not the condition of the home, but the situation that the seller's in. I've lived in this home for a long time. I've cared for it. I have some deferred maintenance, but it's mostly cosmetic. But what I'm really looking for is to simplify my life. I have a lot of equity in my home. I want to go on to the next chapter. Maybe I'm moving to a new place, but the home itself has been cared for. We go in, we can make those cosmetic upgrades and get that home. We provided the convenience to the seller, but get that home back on market for that next young family who's going to build, that next chapter there. So, and as far as working with us on the buy side goes, we talked about the progress that our team has made over the years, but every day we're listening for feedback on how we can make things better. Over the years, I think we've made our home showing process, our offer process. We've really listened to agents and how we can make it easier, using things as simple as the same showing service to get into the home, or a similar offer process using the same forms and things like that. So we have a lot of work to do there. I won't act like it's all roses, but we continue to listen to agents. And in terms of working with buyers on the buy side, obviously our process is a little bit different, but we hope to pair every agent with a dedicated agent on our side who's going to treat you just like they would if you were working with another real estate company and buying that home.
Well, I've got to tell you, I have nothing but kudos to say from this side of the table, because the homes that I have sold were well maintained. They were not in disrepair. I felt completely safe showing them. It was a breeze. As I said, it was easy peasy. And for me and for our buyers, we really want to provide that seamless transaction from contract to closing. And working with your team, it's not just one person. And people will say, oh, but maybe I can't get in touch with them on the weekends. That's absolutely not true. I feel like that your team here in Atlanta works 24 hours a day, super responsive, very very cut and dry. That's probably one of the things I like the best, is because there's not a lot of emotion playing into the decision making from the seller side. You guys, you understand what's going on with the house and you're ready to address it and move it. And I love that.
That's great to hear. Like I said, that's the result of a lot of people working hard to listen to feedback and continuing to improve. And as I mentioned before, we're by no means done making things better, making it friendlier, making it easier. But it also speaks to the quality of the team on the ground. I happen to have a soft spot for the Atlanta team, and that I'm an East Coast person myself. So I get down there every now and then. We always make sure to spend some time together. Just a lot of really great people who also are generally, experienced, licensed real estate agents. They're looking to, do something different in their careers at this point, but they've been in your shoes, they've been in the agent's shoes, they know what it's like. So they try to reflect that understanding and experience in every transaction. So it's really a shout out to the people. The tech does a lot, but at the end of the day, the people there to help make that transaction happen are just priceless.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. And the next time you're in Atlanta, I would love to treat you for lunch and show you a little bit of my city. And thank you so much for providing a great service, not only for buyers and sellers, but also for real estate agents. So I've got one last question for you. What do you want to, at the end of the day, what do you want agents to say? What do you want them to feel? What is it that you're looking for from a real estate agent to experience when they come to Opendoor, either with a buyer or a seller?
Well, that's a great question. I'm just going to first acknowledge that I'm going to now find an excuse to go to Atlanta so I can go out for that lunch. That'd be great. And I really appreciate, the way you've thought, and just honestly the honesty around the evolution. It wasn't always perfect. It's not perfect now, but I think we're continuing to develop this partnership team and the way we work with agents. And then in terms of what our team wants agents to understand or know is that as much as industry leaders like yourself are aware of Opendoor and know about Opendoor, our team realizes that we still have a lot of work to do around driving awareness and consideration. That for the agent community, we're your cash buyer. You have a cash buyer in every consumer you're talking to. We are also obviously a reseller of homes. We're a real estate brokerage in that way. But that first example, it's just that it's not about really what happens later on in the transaction. We're at the stage where I still want to educate and drive awareness that any agent who's listening to this podcast can go on opendoor.com/agents and request an offer. You could try it out as a test. There's no commitment, there's no cost, there's no obligation, there's no contact to any seller. But I really just want to hammer that message home because we do research, we talk to agents, and as much as I think that everyone in the world understands Opendoor and knows Opendoor, the reality is that we have a lot of work to do to educate and drive awareness that this partnerships team, this way of working with Opendoor exists. A lot of really successful agents are utilizing it exactly as you outlined. But I want to make sure every agent knows that it's there for you. If you're listening to this podcast, it's a tool for you, opendoor.com/agents, and click to get started with, no commitment, no risk, and hopefully a couple seconds of your time.
Well, Nick, I am real, relatable, relevant, and reliable. Those are my core words to my audience. It's my commitment to my audience. And I have to tell you, I am honored that your company approached me, and also that I had the opportunity to work with you guys, not only as a real estate agent helping my buyers and sellers, but as an agent advocate, and be able to tell agents who follow me what a great experience I have had. They know that if I'm telling them that is exactly the truth. And I want all agents to know that Opendoor is not our competitor. They are our collaborator. Real estate has changed over the last 3 to 5 years, unlike anything I've ever seen in my career. And if you want to stay relevant, you need to understand how to embrace the changes. And Opendoor is a company that's going to help bring certainty and clarity to your client. And that is our number one goal as agents, is to help the client. So, Nick, I thank you so much. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and your team, and wholeheartedly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you again for your time, and thank you for your commitment to collaborate with agents.
Right back at you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And as you said, I know you advocate for agents. Long-time listener, but everyone should know that Glennda has our contact info. She can call me. So when there's feedback, we can make it better together. So appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time and the opportunity.
Nick, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, if you would like to go to Opendoor, you can do that at opendoor.com/agents and get all of the information that Opendoor has to give. My name is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And as I always say, send me a text, tag me in a post, give me a call. That's what I love the most, because I love the opportunity to talk real estate with you today. See ya.